Time to drive now. 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 Time to drive now
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now. Time to drive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
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 Time to drive now. Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
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 Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now. Prepare to be aggressive. Hyperdrive now Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now. Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
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 Hyperdrive now. Hyperdrive now.
Prepare to be aggressive.
La isla.
Det här är ön.
Insel.
The Island. Det är stenarna.
It's the ruts.
It's the heat.
Cette chaleur incessante.
Den här ön måste bara vinna en gång.
Oh, no way! Huge roll!
Tienes que ganar cada vez.
Oh, Munnings!
To conquer the island.
The island.
The Island.
The island. The island.
Hello and welcome to Extreme, where we're in Sardinia for the Island X-Prix. My name is Nikki Shields and alongside me is Andrew Coley.
Thanks, Nikki. Extreme is a sport with a purpose to race for the planet in the fight against climate change. And we're back in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea for the third time to revisit our legacy projects, where we've helped restore both land and sea after tragic environmental disasters.
Sun-baked Sardinia has some of the toughest terrain in the calendar, but the fully electric Odyssey 21 SUVs are ready for action, having taken on the glaciers of Greenland, the remote Atacama Desert of Chile, and most recently battled the elements in a Scottish coal mine being transformed into a hydroelectric plant.
Strapping themselves into these cutting-edge cars are 20 of the quickest off-road drivers on the planet, with a Motorsport first driver pairing of one female and one male driver equally competing together for all important championship points.
The championship is more than just elite competition, however, as the locations we race in are just as important as the races themselves. Our drivers and scientific committee are always involved in legacy projects that directly help local communities in the regions that we race in. Let's see where else the championship will be heading for in Season 3.
So we started off with rounds 1 and 2 in Saudi Arabia. The terrain was sand and rocks. Our winners, Veloce Racing and Acciona Science. Great performances by them to kick off their championship campaigns.
And then we headed to the Scottish Highlands for a rather muddy and wet race. It was, of course, the Hydro X-Prix, where they are creating that hydroelectric part. And it was Veloce Racing that took the win.
Yeah, double winners. First double winners this season, putting them in control of the championship as we come to rounds 5 and 6, the halfway point in the season. Italy, Sardinia, wildfires are the theme. Dry earth ruts. We've got some serious racing to do here. And round 4 has just been confirmed as being in South America, so more details to come on that one. Looking forward to seeing another new venue for Extreme and another brand new track.
And the final doubleheader will head to Chile, to the Antofagasta mine there. Terrain will be rock and gravel, absolutely stunning location. And the championship will conclude on the 2nd and 3rd of December.
Here we go then, round 6. Let's do it all again, shall we? Yesterday was a pretty sensible start, let's say. I'm keen to see whether or not this is a tactic from the teams, whether they just decide to go bonkers when it gets to final time or not. There they are, look, it's a little more overcast today. Temperature much lower than yesterday, and there's a breeze as well. Everybody on site just saying that it's a little bit more comfortable. I think yesterday was very, very hot indeed. Nikki, looking forward to this?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw plenty of action in the race yesterday. Qualifying was pretty straightforward, so we weren't expecting it.
No.
But bring it on. Let's see what they've got this morning. Season 3 of Extreme began on the picturesque shores of the Red Sea in Neom, Saudi Arabia.
Hammer down now, release the handbrake. Oh, into the water! Oh my God!
Everything okay?
Yes, it does.
No, not again! A third roll for Andretti. Alatia goes up the inside into the door. Runs the RXR wide.
After a brutal 2 days of racing, wins for Veloce and Acciona Science left them level at the top of the championship.
Vamos, Laia, que hemos ganado la carrera!
The scarred landscape of a former coal mine put the teams to the test when Scotland played host to the chaotic Hydro X-Prix, with round 3 immediately delivering the drama.
Contact to the roll. Absolutely huge crash. Timmy Hansen going to pass McConnell.
In the final, Andretti Altequila crossed the line first. But a post-race penalty spoiled the party.
We've got it, Chris. They got a 15.3-second penalty. Well done, well done.
Promoting X44 to the top step of the podium. Round 4 brought some of the worst weather conditions in the championship's history.
Oh, no! Look at Christopherson, full opposite lock. Tanner Faust goes all the way around the outside in the Neo McLaren. That is a brilliant pass.
However, Veloce maintained their composure to take their second win of the season and reclaim the championship lead.
Top step of the podium for Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor.
Round 5 saw a return to stunning Sardinia for the Island X-Prix. Qualifying saw doors hanging off and the limits were pushed. After some great racing, it was Acciona Sainz who took the top spot. But after struggling in qualifying, championship leaders Veloce and reigning champions X44 would be battling it out in the redemption race.
You know, a hyperdrive for everybody except Backer, and it looks like, oh, contact straight off the start. The JBXE machine facing the wrong way.
Carnage off the start saw JBXE out of the action, with McLaren's door not far behind.
There it goes. Door off, flies up in the air.
X44 and McLaren battled hard for P2. But it was Veloce who showed their class to take the win in an incredible redemption race. But in the grand final, the best was yet to come.
This is going to be a big old funnel. Christopherson into the side of the App Cupra. 4 cars wide, 5 cars cannot go through there, surely. The RXR is going fully off-road, straight through the bushes on the outside of the track. Christopherson is in the bushes before the first waypoint.
It was a disaster at the start for RXR. But they never give up. Ab Cupra were the first to fall, before Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski set her sights on Katie Munnings.
Michaela Arlen-Kotelinski slides! Oh, Munnings!
And with the leaders Chip Ganassi picking up a penalty, RXR did the unthinkable.
A disaster at the start, and they come back to take the win in round 5.
An unbelievable performance to take the win. But with the competition more fierce than ever, it's all to play for in round 6. It is indeed all to play for. Let's take a look at the championship standings as it looks at the moment. 90 points for Acciona Sainz after yesterday's second place finish. Veloce Racing moved down, but only by 2 points. 88 for them. RXR 78 after yesterday's win. GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi on 66. 5th in the championship, X44. Then there's a bit of a gap down to Neon McLaren on 42 points, followed by just 2 points behind Andretti Altequila on 40. Then Ab Cupra XE, Carl Cox Motorsport, and rounding out the top 10, JBXE on just 16 points. They finished last yesterday and going to be looking for a good result today. Let's go down to Joe and Kia reporting on all the action.
So Acciona Sainz on top of the championship standings, and what a thrilling day it was yesterday, especially that grand final. Rosberg X Racing, top spot on the podium, second spot on the podium. I'll start with you, Michaela. Johan started off in the bushes. Can you even believe, has it sunk in yet, what you went through to come through in first? Talk to me about how it went and how you're feeling overall.
Yeah, I think, no one thought that we would take the win after that start, but Johan did a great drive, catching up with others and overtaking and, taking home the car in P3 for me, and then handing it over and gave me some really good advices on, where to drive. It was really changing conditions out there on the track, so did the best we could. First of all, happy that Katie is all right after that roll, but then for us, for the team to be back on top step of the podium, that felt really good. But it's a new day today.
Indeed it is. And Matthias, you were TQ yesterday, top qualifier overall, and then of course second in the final, starting off with that grid position 1 that you weren't happy about. So how pleased are you overall?
Yeah, it's always nice to lead the championship, but everybody knows it doesn't matter much. It's like halftime in football. It's still a long way to go, but we had a good pace all over the weekend, so we got those 2 points for the traction sector yesterday, and yeah, hope we get a bit more votes for the grid play today so we can have a better starting position if we get to the final. So yeah, as always, anything can happen here, but we are ready for the day.
Okay, and it's halfway through the season now, so 2 points lead at the top of the table. What does that mean for you going into today?
Not much. You know, it's very close, and I think we are 3 teams which are pretty close, but then the others are hunting just behind us. So it's still a long way to go, and I think you have to be humble all the way if you want to be winning the championship.
Okay, and Michaela, we know Rosberg X-Racing love this course, so what's the focus for today?
No, just to keep on improving and coming to the final and do the best that we can.
Okay, well, these two may be first and third in the championship standings, but not too far behind them is Chip Ganassi in 4th, and young up-and-coming Amanda Sorensen has been doing absolutely fantastic. We're going to catch up and hear from Amanda ahead of round 6.
My name is Amanda Sorensen. I drive the number 99 GMC Hummer EV for Chip Ganassi Racing. From a young age, I've always attended the racetrack, whether it be a spectator or a driver. My dad is a veteran of off-road for like 20 years plus, and right around the age of 5 or 6, my brother, who is 18 months younger than I am, he's like my best friend. Him and I both got behind the wheel of go-karts, and it was game over from there. My brother and I are so neck to neck in driving that he drives with no mercy. Having someone to drive against has created me to be such a competitive driver, and I think that that's kind of what's excelled my racing program. I love the thrill of driving. My family is my #1 supporter, I'd say. Whether it be my brother, my dad, or my mom, everyone plays their role. I also have a younger brother that's 11, and he just loves to sit there and he kind of gets the fire going under you before you go out and says you're slow or whatever, you know? It just, the support behind what I've chosen to do as a career from my family is unreal. When I was about 11 or 12, we had stepped into the Lucas Oil Short Course Series. So these are like small little trophy trucks that were racing side by side 4 wide into a turnover jumps like crazy. And I would have to say like the root of my driving probably had started there with the dirt stuff. So from the mod kart stuff, I jumped into the UTVs a little bit, which is how I know my partner RJ. In 2016, my rookie year, I won the championship. I was like this 14-year-old little girl racing against these older guys, and it was just like a stepping stone from there. In 2017, I started racing desert, and then from there, we had made a transition into drifting, and I was honestly devastated. Like, I loved racing dirt. So that means a lot to me to be back here racing dirt in Extreme E, and when I got the call to go and drive for Chip Ganassi, it just meant so much because it was like fulfilling that childhood dream of driving on dirt and doing it professionally.
This is Amanda Sorensen's debut in the series, and she takes the win.
Nice work. First time in the race car, you're a round winner.
The opportunities that Extreme E has brought for females is phenomenal because my contract is the same as RJ's contract. The equality here is like all drivers have their moment to shine. There's no other series where I can race against legends like Sebastian Loeb here in Sardinia or Tanner Faust. Racing for Chip Ganassi and Extreme E means a lot because we're here to represent USA, right? And not only that, my daily driver is a GMC Hummer EV. Like, I love it. So just to be able to bring that to the racetrack and bring it here globally means a lot. Partnering with RJ, him and I have this super fun bond. He's like older brother, so he's always looking out after me, but also he's such a good driver coach. We make a good team together. Where he struggles, I kind of pick up. Where I struggle, he picks up. And so I think together, we make a good driver duo for the GMC Hummer EV. We have what it takes to win the championship, and there's nothing that should be stopping us from getting on the box.
Brilliant debut by Sorensen, I think, this year. Very few drivers have jumped into the Odyssey 21, which is a very specific race car, and done as well as she did in Saudi Arabia. And, you know, there hasn't been a duff session. You're not going to think goes so well there. I think she's been a fantastic addition to the series, I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, between them, GMC Hummer EV, Chip Ganassi Racing, have been in the grand final on every round so far this season. Yeah. So fantastic results for them.
I think that it's only them, I'm trying to think, it might be only them and RXR. Yeah, it is. It's only them and RXR that have been in the final at every event. So that's, yeah, consistency's great. So some talking points from yesterday. If you missed yesterday's action, starts, first of all, everybody played it quite safe in qualifying. By that we mean, if you look here, they split. They took different routes. So they were all aware that lane number 3 in the middle was the one they wanted, but that it was going to be busy. And have another look at this one here, and you'll see again. So the car far left and the car far right disappear off and go, you know what, we need a bit of space. In fact, 2 cars off to the right in this one. But as we got towards the finals, things got a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, got a little bit more competitive, I'd say. Elbows came out for going gunning for that middle track because I think they did realise that there was such an advantage. And this is when things got particularly spicy.
Yeah, once we got to finals time, so you can see more squeezing going on, more cars going down the same route, bit of side-by-side action. The grand final was the most carnage one, which is coming up in a minute. If you want to find out more about the series, hit that QR code bottom right of your screen, and that will take you to all the relevant links if you'd like to learn a little bit more about what we do. And this is what we really do. This is my favourite kind of racing. 5 into 1 won't go, but as Christopherson, I think, said yesterday, everybody just kept it lit and was going to see what happened, and as he said, he came off worse. So he parked it in the bushes over on the left-hand side, but unbelievably from there they went on to take the win, so incredible job by them.
Never give up in extreming, I think, is the moral of that story. An absolutely phenomenal race for them. I mean, who would have thought to end in the bushes, or to start in the bushes,
yeah, to
end on the top step of the podium.
Don't want to end in the bushes.
I mean, really, what a story.
Some great passing. You saw an onboard there with Ekstrom using the handbrake as well. This was Gutierrez. She made a pass, then she clipped a flag. She got a penalty for that. Watch Faust in the background. He didn't get a penalty for that, which was a surprising decision. What the steward said, watching the background again, is that he had nowhere to go because the the Hummer EV Chip Ganassi racing car was outside him. This was Leah Block. Good debut for her yesterday. The team has said, you know, it was first day at school and she means business today. They made some changes to the setup for the redemption race. She actually had a puncture in the redemption race and she ran out of washer fluid and couldn't see where she was going. So it's so much to learn. Well, coming in at 16 years old, and that was Katie Munnings, who unfortunately ended the race on her roof, and that could potentially have been a race win for them.
Yeah, that was such a shame, but good to see she was absolutely fine and ready for racing again. So let's take a look at the track. 12 waypoints. Each driver will do 2 laps each. You can see that yellow part of the track is where the Continental Traction Challenge takes place. The fastest part of that is the combined time of the male and female driver. And obviously, if you're drawn on points, it will go down to the time that they have achieved in that Continental Traction Challenge.
Yeah. Yesterday they were using the Anoa hyperdrive in there to try and get that extra time. Yesterday it went to Acciona Science and they were some 1.4 seconds faster than anybody else through that section, which is outrageous. There were a further 5 teams within 5/10 of each other. It's a fast course. If you missed yesterday but you saw last year, it's much smoother, it's much wider in places, but there are less places to make mistakes, meaning that if you want to make a pass, you've really got to get a little bit physical to get it done.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the conditions on the track change as well, because obviously yesterday with the sun, I mean, they did dampen the track a little bit with a bit of extra water, but we had a lot more heat, a lot more sun, so conditions will be quite different today. So if you are new to Extreme E, do not worry, because here is a bit of a format explainer of everything you need to know about this all-electric off-road series.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 10 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Anoa hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 5 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 5 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the X-Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle. 10 rounds, 1 champion. Well, teams are getting themselves ready for another day of action in Sardinia. A few shots in the paddock here, just for you guys to get an idea of what goes on down there. They've all got these inflatable tents which go around the world on the Santa Elena. And then it's a case of what they do individually to make a difference. Remember, all the cars are the same, so it comes down to what your settings are on your suspension, the electrics on the car, the various different settings you change. Sebastian Loeb back this weekend covering for Nasser Al-Attiyah. Leah Block making her debut with these guys at Carl Cox Motorsport. There she is.
Done an absolutely fantastic job so far. 16 years of age. Unbelievable. Let's find out more about Carl Cox Motorsport.
At the start of season 3, a brand new team, Carl Cox Motorsport, joined the Extreme E paddock. Conceptualised and owned by world-renowned DJ and motor racing fanatic Carl Cox, they brought a whole new beat to the series.
Oh yes, let's now talk about Carl Cox Motorsport. I started off very small, self-employed DJ. The only way I've basically got to where I am is just through hard work, determination and self-belief. That is something of which I've kind of adopted within my idea of being who I am as someone that's involved in motorsports now. When I was starting off on our drag racing, I put all my eggs into my car to race on once a month, but I always broke something and it always cost me money, more than I was earning. And I just thought, this is no good for me, so I actually stopped drag racing. And then once I started making some money, I put a certain amount of money away to be able to basically create what I have now today, Carl Cox Motorsport. So it's taken a long time to get to this point, but I think now that the vocation of what I do now, that both things have just started to become parallel. I'm very happy to show you some of my Carl Cox Motorsport car collection in the Aladdin Cave of cars. This is my Motorsport Mini, something of which a father and son had as a project, and I saw it online, and when I went to go and buy it from them, they couldn't believe it was me that was picking it up.
We're invited to Extreme E as guests of one of our partners, and conversations started about us coming to another race, and suddenly we realised we were becoming really friendly with everybody and really liked this thing, and they call it the Extreme E family, and it really felt like you were part of something. Before we knew it, we'd committed to us having a racing team. We just felt we were in it to win it.
He's such a nice person. I was so positive, overwhelmed of the energy he has and how much passion he has for racing. To be his driver feels just great.
Joining the team for this round is a superstar of the future, 16-year-old Leah Block. The young American is the daughter of the late, great Ken Block.
My dad was one of the first people to ever drive the Odyssey. And yeah, it wasn't as developed back then, but I think it's just really cool for me to come into a car that I know he drove and he really liked. So yeah, it'll be really fun, and hopefully I get to do some fun things with it.
And here comes Carl Cox Motorsport. They are going to take their first ever podium here in Scotland.
Well, getting the podium in our first season, most teams don't. Everyone was so happy for us. They could see that we were a genuine, honest team. That was a very proud moment for me, and hopefully we can carry on and maintain the energy of what we know we can create and what we know we can achieve.
First race of the day is coming up shortly. Q1, Heat 1, and this man, Fraser McConnell, X44 Vita Carbon Racing, is in it. It was a tough day for you yesterday, wasn't it, though? You lost a door, had some good battles, though. Are there positives you can take from it going into today?
No, there's always a lesson you can learn from a bad day. And, you know, more importantly, it's a new day. We're going to go out there and give it our all. Have a better starting position for Q1 this race, and you're going to go out there and make the best of it.
Okay, and you took a different line in that redemption race, and there was a lot of talk about the start being so important. It kind of worked out for you, didn't it? So what might your approach be now you've tasted the course?
Yeah, it's super tricky. There's 4 alternate lines, but, you know, there's obviously one clear fastest line. And, you know, being way out on the outside, I had to, you know, choose wisely and, you know, try to come out as best as I could, and managed to get third. Had a nice fight with Tana, and there was actually... I don't know if they can pull up the in-car shot. There was the door, when Tana's door flew off, it came and, you know, bounced off the windscreen. I was ducking in the car. But, you know, all fun and games, and we're going to go out there and today's business.
Well, hopefully for you, some less thrills and spills today. 5th in the championship now, X44 Vita Carbon Racing. At this point in the season, it will be really crucial for them to have a good set of racing today to get back into contention. Conditions today, by the way, are a little bit better than yesterday. The winds seem to have calmed down. It's also a little bit cooler, so that could make for a slightly different set of racing. We're going to take a look now inside the garage of Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. They came 4th overall in the standings, but they did cross the line in the grand final in 1st place. Amanda Sorensen here, I remember how bitterly disappointed you were when you crossed the line in 1st but found out about those penalty point deductions. Have you had a chance to fully understand what happened so you can make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, so we had a penalty coming out of the switch zone. We're supposed to be in neutral for 45 seconds, and we were just shy of 45 seconds by like not even a blink of an eye. So unfortunately, we got a penalty for that, which ended us up 3rd on the box.
But look, a great set of racing for you, crossing that grand final line in 1st. I mean, that must give you so much confidence. So how are you going to make sure to get the result you know you're capable of today?
Yeah, I think just making sure that we follow the rules and just nailing our points and our marks out there, and it should be a good day.
Nailing it, that is the word of today. So it is Q1 Heat 1 coming up next. Let's see what happens.
Race time. Let's go. Day 2. Looking forward to it.
So I've got a question. How many punctures are we going to see today? Because we saw a lot yesterday. Everyone was having to get their hands dirty.
Yeah, people are using a lot of track width. So we saw people running the car very wide, and then you hit rocks at the side of the road and you can knock a tyre off. Actually, we can have a chat with somebody about punctures, because we're going to talk to Emma Gilmore down in the command centre, who drives for Neil McLaren. Morning, Emma. Hope you're good. Tell us about yesterday's puncture. Who got it and where? I can't remember. We may not have seen it. We saw you guys changing the wheel.
Yeah, so Tanner picked it up. He was in the dust behind Kevin, and I think he might have pulled a rock out. So, yeah, Tanner never saw it, but unfortunately we still paid the price for it.
And how was yesterday for you guys generally? I mean, what's the plan for today with regard to the experience gained from yesterday?
Yeah, I think all the teams have gained a lot from what we learnt yesterday and how the start line was raced. So it'll be interesting to see if, what changes today. But I think as a team, we did the best we could. The puncture was unfortunate, but, we raced well. So I think we're feeling confident heading into today.
Go on, sorry,
I was just going to ask you, give us a bit of feedback about the conditions on the ground. Has it changed much from yesterday, looking a little bit cooler?
It is a little bit cooler, but it's still really, really hot.
Not cool enough, then.
All right, look, Emma, thanks ever so much. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck for today. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, those guys were kind of on the back foot yesterday because, of course, they were started off both qualies in lane 1, which isn't ideal. It is kind of the slow lane, whereas today they're bang on in the middle, which is a brilliant position to be in lane 3. And this is where all the action is going to take place. So over on the left-hand side, we've got JBXE.
Yeah, it's middle of the grid, yeah. Sorry, yeah, we're just getting ourselves ready for the start. As you see a little shot from the drone. Good to go. Q1, race 1 is about to get underway.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start for the Island X-Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 1, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
1 minute. 1 minute, please.
So just moments away from the start of the race. Over in lane 1, it's going to be JBXE with Hedda Hosses, the only female to be starting today. X44 with Fraser McConnell. Tanner Faust for Neil McLaren in that middle lane. RJ Anderson in lane 4 for Chip Ganassi. And then in lane 5, Christopherson for RXR.
So we've got 2 of our 3 podium finishers in this one. Yesterday, RXR, far left of your screen, next to. They took the win, and of course, the team that took the win on the road are right next to them with Chip Ganassi Racing. So 2 of our quickest teams from yesterday in this first race. A hyperdrive, lots of drivers used that off the line yesterday. There's Fraser McConnell. Hedda Hossos will talk about the tactics of JBXE and why they might have done that in a minute. Faust in the middle of the road. deep breathing, getting ready for the launch. He knows he needs to get down to lane 3 first of all. Good start for Kristoffersson this side of the grid. He's got great traction away from the line. 4 cars going in. It's like yesterday's final over again. McConnell through the branding over the grass. He takes a very similar line, ends up in the same place as Kristoffersson, not quite so far off. Johan Kristoffersson gets the whole shot. Far in the background there. Hedda Hozos has gone that long route. Will she get to the merge before McConnell? McConnell having been off into the bushes. Exit speed here for Faust is good, but not quite enough to get up to the back of RJ Anderson. So whole shot for Kristoffersson. That is a completely different level of risk taking to yesterday's starts. He looks to the inside, can't get there, and Kristoffersson's away.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, clearly yesterday they were playing it safe. Yesterday it really is very much elbows out. Didn't quite pay off for X44, but never mind. You still got to try, haven't you? Definitely paid off for RXR. Kristoffersson at the front there, already building a little bit of a gap between himself and RJ Anderson right behind. And then Tanner Faust, considering he was in that middle lane, should have taken a slightly, well, we were hoping he could have taken advantage of that position, but sitting in P3.
It was interesting yesterday, wasn't it? Remember, Kevin Hansen really liked slot number 4. The conditions changed with the amount of dampness there is in the surface and obviously how much the ruts come up. So you're on board with McConnell. He's got a problem because the gap is going up. It was 11, it's now up to 14.8. So I reckon he's broken something on his way into the bushes potentially, or maybe picked up a puncture with the contact because the gap is going up. Oh, so look at Tanner Faust trying to come around the outside. He's going inside, outside. It's number 10 where he passed, waypoint 10, where he actually passed RJ Anderson yesterday and got away with taking the flag down. You can see the wheel arches off the front left of the McLaren. That will be from the contact in those first few moments off the start. And this gives you an idea of what the visibility is like. We mentioned earlier on Leah Block ran out of water, and this is why. The water bottle in the car isn't that big. Obviously, the races aren't that long, but when you're getting roosted the whole time, you need water on the wipers to keep the screen clean. That's why you want to be in front, not in a battle. Anderson here with a big gap up the road to Kristoffersson, so he's not suffering from a dirty screen. Kristoffersson is 3.7 seconds up the road. McConnell showing 22.3, and in fact it's showing that he's pit. He is front right. I thought there was an issue, so this is a disaster for X44. They were in the redemption race yesterday and they got a front right puncture today, Nikki, straight away.
What a disappointment. But you know, that's unfortunately what happens when you go full throttle into the bushes. You know, these cars are epic. They do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds, can cope with gradients of up to 130%. But unfortunately, when you have that kind of terrain right in front of you, unfortunately, the tyres can't always survive.
Look at them really chucking it in again up here. The big bump section again. I think that's between, looking at it, it's between 5 and 6. So both the right-handers, waypoint 6 and waypoint 11, are both fairly bumpy. The braking zone between 5 and 6 also cutting up a bit. We'd expect that over a couple of days of action. The cars start to dig in. You can see the ruts forming at the side of the road. And that's just more for the drivers to deal with. They've got to look at that. You've got to manage how sideways the car is in those ruts, what you do with rotating the car in the corner to keep the tyres on your rims.
RXR, we've got to say, though, they've really had an impressive weekend. You know,
Faust getting past, sorry to interrupt,
No
Nick. He
worries.
got up the inside of the Hummer EV and then just got caught in the rut and couldn't get it done.
Yeah, that's a shame. Oh, he's coming back for more action.
Looking quick, isn't he? He looks like he's maybe got more ultimate pace. Lost a bit of time on the exit. Maybe got a tiny bit more ultimate pace than Anderson. But on he goes on later on the brakes and gets alongside him on the run into the switch zone. So Tanner Faust looking very racy indeed. They're both on the limiter now. And by that, I mean the pit lane limiter, not the limit limiter.
Look at his face. He's like, la, la, la. I'm just going to ignore the fact that I...
It's like when you cut
right
someone up at the lights,
you.
isn't it? And you're like, don't look at him, don't look at him. I've definitely cut him up.
Don't make eye contact here.
Luckily, his switch zone is first. That's brilliant, wasn't it? Fully ignored him. Nice one, Tanner. Okay,
Right.
so driver switch. Let's take a look at this.
This is fantastic because you get 45 seconds here. Obviously, one driver out as quickly as possible, the next one in, nice and safe. So they've got plenty of time to put the belts on. Let's take a look at the replay of the start of the race. So JBXC there taking the line on the left. All 4 cars tunneling right into that centre lane there. You can see X44 straight into the bushes, and that's where obviously they've picked up a puncture.
You're on board with McConnell. It's the second hit. I reckon there's a rock in that area. So Kristoffersson hit that grassy area to the left of the lane yesterday, Nikki, but he got away with it. And McConnell doesn't look. So he hits the branding. That's a nothing. I'm not going to see it. Hits the branding. That's not really a biggie. but then there's something in that grass, probably a big rock, and you can't hit them that hard. So he's unlucky there. They were 4 wide. They all got a pretty even start, didn't they? Arlen Kotlinski in now for RXR. She made that pass on Munnings yesterday. Then Munnings had the roll, and this you see them now leaving the switch zone. It's just boot it straight away, get on it. She takes the straight line. The Hummer EV's gone left. Might see a move here. Sorry, you're on board. That was on board with Emma Gilmore. So Gilmore's taken the straight line, and the Hummer EV went left. Now, yesterday, Munnings really made the straight line work, but I think it was slightly off to the left of where Gilmore went today.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting as well to see what Andreas Baccarat can do, the only male in this second part of qualifying one, to see if it makes a difference. Was it a strategic play? We will find out.
Yeah, so yesterday all the male drivers starting. What they tend to do is they play to what you think is your strength. So a lot of the male drivers have got a lot of experience in things like rallycross, and in rallycross you get a lot of hits off the start. There's a lot of side-by-side racing and contact, and some of the female drivers don't have the same experience. So it's not like a man versus woman thing. It's a what is the best driver to put in this situation. Now you can flip those tactics. They put Hozos in, and they'll be hoping that she has a little bit less experience, that maybe she'll get dragged along with the pack, and then Baccarat can make some moves, which he's used to doing again from rallycross when he's in the car. But he's 11 seconds back, and Nikki, this isn't the easiest track to make time up on, because it's a little bit less challenging than we've had in the past. So drivers are making less mistakes. He's taken a half second off the gap already, but he's only got 2 3-kilometre laps to do it in.
Yeah, we've got a, what about 4, just almost 5-second gap between Arlen Kotlinski and Sorensen at the moment. And obviously Sorensen disappointed after yesterday's win across the finish line, but of course they got that penalty for early release in the switch zone, just 0.7 seconds, but you know, that's the rules. Actually she's now down to 3.3 seconds, so perhaps closing the gap there to RXR, and that would be a nice little redemption story.
Yeah, she'd like to stay with them, definitely. Branding's been knocked down over the jump again in the background. So Baccarat is so he's now only 9.2 off. He's only 4 off the back of Gilmore. So Andreas Baccarat's got his sights on Emma Gilmore in the McLaren, and Gilmore's only 2 seconds off the back of the Chip Ganassi racing machine. So, but we're already onto the second lap. This is what I mean. It's such a short lap here that you've only got 6 kilometres, 3K per lap to try and make that gap up. Look at the gap now between Emma and Chip Ganassi, and even if Andreas can get to Emma, he's got to pass her, and there just aren't that many places to do it.
Yeah, it really is no time at all. You know, ultimately over an entire double-header weekend, you're probably only in the car for 20 minutes or so, which is nothing if you want to, you know, improve on your experience on the track.
So Gilmore uses the Inoa hyperdrive. That's to try and protect from Baccarat. Baccarat has still got an Inoa hyperdrive from the looks of things. The X44 is a lap down, not showing that whether or not they're moving. So yeah, Gutierrez is in the car, so it looks like the X44 is out. Baccarat looks to the inside line of Emma Gilmore. Watch for the right-hander now. Gilmore's going to try and keep this tight on that right-hand side. So waypoint 10's been a popular place. Baccarat now uses the Inoa hyperdrive, an extra 100 kilowatts, but Gilmore keeps it tight on the inside line. She'll know he's there. He's all over the back of her, but it's not a wide enough point on the track to make it stick there. Rocks both left and right. Watch down at number 10. Where is it? This has been the popular one. It's the tight left-hander. Still looking to try and find a way through. Gilmore's just got to keep the door shut. There it is, number 10. That's the one we saw passes yesterday. Can't get it done there, and she'll just hold it tight on number 11 as well. Doing a good job here defending.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, not quite. Just lost a little bit of speed there, JBXC, which is a shame because they really need to get some points in these qualifying races to get themselves into the grand final.
RXR then take it, checker flag for Michaela Arlen Kotlinski. She takes the win. Sorensen was right there at 1.6 back, and Gilmore holds off Baccarat for half of that second lap. Baccarat managed to get onto her rear bumper. McConnell and Gutierrez, are they still circulating or not? I think they're not. They are, sorry. Eat your words, Coley. Shut it. They're out there. They're going for it. So front right been changed. Gutierrez is in the car. I think she's got another lap to go.
Well, ultimately, the result won't come, but the experience is just as crucial, isn't it? You know, you've got to be able to have a bit of experience on the track this morning with different conditions and use that into the next heat.
I think looks like there might be a problem with the rear left as well. Nico's there. Rosberg, the RXR team owner. Nico, what's up? How we did? Good day yesterday. So Nico Rosberg on site, and we're going to hopefully have a chat with him later on today. So yeah, on board with Gutierrez. Nikki, the Gutierrez and McConnell have to win their Q2 race. Simple as that. Now, yesterday, I don't think that would have been enough anyway. Let me find my qualifying points from yesterday. A couple of the races this year, 12 points, as in 12 qualifying points has been enough. So they'll get 2 for this, you get 10 for a win. But looking at yesterday, to make the final,
like 14, wasn't it?
you needed 14. That depends what results everybody has. If you can get 12, you might scrape it. What they may also need is the Continental Traction Challenge. So they may need, in terms of, that's the tie break. So if you were equal in P5 and P6 on points, the faster team in the Traction Challenge will go through. But they will know they've got a job to do, and all of their tactics in that next race have to revolve around winning the race. Nothing else will see them stand a chance of making the grand final.
Well, it's not going to be easy, but it's very much possible.
It is, yeah, and that's the
two
point.
Brilliant drivers in the car there. If they get the right grid position to start the race, then you know, the win could very much be theirs. They've definitely got the pace.
Yeah, reigning champions as team, of course, and you know, McConnell joining the team this year has done a great job with them so far. They took a win in Scotland. Go on, Christina, get in, sending it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was a problem with the rear left when we saw the long shot of the car, but the way she's driving, I would suggest not. So, I don't know, they have lost a little bit more time. Anyway, either way, see we hear anything on the radio as they come in. That front, see the front lamp, it's hard to tell, is the headlight cover missing. No, I think all okay, so just a puncture, hopefully.
Does look like the suspension's a
Yeah,
little
it does
bit
look
lower
low,
on the
doesn't
left.
it, on front left? I agree, yeah, maybe blown a damper as well.
So not much time between now and obviously qualifying Heat 2 to get the car ready again. You know, that's what's so intense about this racing championship. 2 qualifiers and the grand final or redemption race all on the same day. So now we're just about to find out on whether there is a penalty for the McLaren. A 15.7 second time penalty for car 58, a switch zone infringement.
So they've done, I'm afraid, what Chip Ganassi Racing did yesterday. They've gone 0.7 of a second early, and that's what Andretti did in Scotland. They went 0.3, so you get the penalty plus 15 seconds. We're going to go down to the command centre. There is the RXR team. And Nico Rosberg is in Sardinia. We can have a catch-up with him. Nico, good morning and congratulations. First win of the year yesterday. What a fight back that was. I hope you've seen the final because it was an absolute banger.
What do you mean, I hope I saw the final? Of course, I was watching the final. I mean, every single race I'm watching, and yeah, it was incredible. I mean, Johan went to look for blueberries in the bush, you know, way off the track, and then he decided to get going again and to still win it. It was insane. And even now, I just arrived now at the track, you know, and you go from 0 to like 1,000 on the adrenaline level. I went straight into handshaking, you know, watching the TV screen. It was very exciting.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it looked like X44 decided to follow the same line in that qualifying heat as you guys did yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe they, maybe Johan brought them the blueberries and they were impressed with the taste or something like that. But also today, the start. I mean, it was incredible. It's nuts going into that tight one-lane road. Then for all those cars, it's incredible and wow, insane.
It's pretty intense, isn't it? I mean, you guys have been on the podium 3 times already this season with the midway point. How much of that championship title is on your mind already?
Well, it has to be on our mind because, I mean, last year we lost it in the last event and we need to try and get it back. But it's a long season, you know, and it's nice now to see that we're starting to catch up. I hope the rest of the day can go that way too, because of course the rivals in the championship fight are doing an amazing job. So we really need to nail it from now on.
Fantastic. Always a pleasure to chat to you, Nico. Have a fantastic day. Thanks very much. Nico Rosberg.
Thank you.
Joe is down with Fraser McConnell. She's just managed to grab Fraser McConnell.
Oh, Fraser, we will do a happy interview soon, I hope. Can't fault yourself for trying. You went for that middle line. Bushes, punctures. Talk me through it.
Yeah, no, it's rough. Hard to, you know, fend off 3 more cars squashing you from one side. So that's just the way it went, unfortunately. And, you know, came out with a puncture and at the merge there with Heather, you know, couldn't see her and didn't hear anything. So, you know, fortunately saved it from our roll, but not the start we want.
Okay, well, at least a puncture can be easily fixed. You basically have to win Q2 to get through to the final. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's plain and simple. We have to win and we're going to go for it.
Okay, any particular change in tactics? Will you be going for that front line again, that middle ground?
I mean, we'll see. We're going to have to just stay tuned and watch.
Okay, well, I hope to have a happier interview the next time we see you racing. Best of luck and commiserations.
We will. Thank you.
So yeah, not the ideal start for X44. They'll have some work to do in that second session. We're going to take another look at the start. So McConnell, look, he's slot 2 on the grid. Header Hozos for JBXC, just bails left immediately. Look how even they are off the start. A little bit of contact there, goes through the branding. It's that big hit. There's 2 big hits actually, could be the first or the second one. One of those takes the tyre off the rim. So looking at it, it doesn't go down immediately. He'll probably realise when he gets to the braking zone will be when he first realises. And I only realised because, no, there it is, look. No, it is, yeah, it's down, it's down. I was thinking front left, so only because that's where the damage was. I'm wrong, it's front right, so maybe it was the contact with the car rather than with the scenery. Anyway, not the result X44 looking for. McConnell and Gutierrez, P5, P4 for Hozos and Backerud. A penalty for McLaren for the switch zone infringement. No time penalty we're hearing. Penalty cancellation. So they've had their penalty cancelled. Humry v Chip Ganassi Racing get P2. Anderson and Sorensen, and the win goes to RXR, who took the win yesterday. Great start for them today. Okay, we're now seeing another penalty coming up. So we've got a penalty, an improper use of hyperdrive for car 44. We'll bring you more as soon as we have it. Extreme E is a championship which goes far beyond just racing, always striving to raise awareness of the bigger climate issues that our planet is facing. The championship shines a light on the solutions that are out there, and through the Counter Sin initiative, the ways in which all of us in our daily lives can make small steps to make a difference. More information about it on the website as well, and we can find a bit more out from our drivers too.
Hi guys, I'm Kevin Hansen.
And I'm Molly Taylor.
And we're here to tell you all you need to know about Extreme E's project Count Us In.
The Count Us In challenge aims to make a difference to the planet by encouraging everyone to take a pledge and take a step against climate change.
In Season 3 of Extreme E, each location we go to have a different focus for the Count Us In challenge. And in Sardinia, it's about using less plastic.
So we're here today to show you how Extreme E endeavours to use less plastic and how you can too.
So you might not know this, but on Extreme E races, we all bring our own cutlery and plates, and we wash them right here behind us. And during the 3 seasons so far, we've saved more than 1 million plastic items.
We also take our own coffee cups and water bottles to make sure we don't have excess plastic piling up. At the end of the season, the team with the most votes will win the Sustainability Award.
The Count Us In challenge is extremely important as we all need to work together to fight climate change.
So come and join us for a more sustainable future.
So here's a look at the onboard from RXR and McLaren. So RXR on your left-hand side, and look at that. It's Johann's screen completely clear, and you see Tanner's screen suddenly just very full of race cars. Kristoffersson coming burning in hot from the right-hand side, and also RJ Anderson getting in there. It looked to me like Tanner had maybe slightly better pace than Anderson on this particular run, but couldn't quite find a way through. And then with the amount of dirt you got on the screen as well, that happens. You look on the left-hand side, no such problems for Kristoffersson. Anderson as well, don't forget, has to go defensive, which can sometimes be what makes it look like the pace isn't there. So, you know, it's easy for us to say the car behind's quicker. It's sometimes the car in front is defending. What that does, of course, is allows a driver like Kristoffersson just to check out front. So Kristoffersson's got, he knows that Anderson is under pressure from Faust. He's got a clear screen in front of him, and he's just away. Tanner Faust using the handbrake there on the right-hand screen. You can see Kristoffersson using the entire width of the road, look right the way out to the bumps on the outside there, pitching the car in, not with too much rotation angle either, trying to carry as much speed as possible through to the exit. It is quick, isn't it, this circuit? There's the exit of the Traction Challenge, so you can see the branding there at gate number 9. And then look at this, backing it in. Chris Johnson on the left-hand side, that is a lovely piece of car control. He's rotating over the crest and he just keeps the car backing in the whole way down the hill, just at the right angle. Absolutely lovely stuff.
We're here in the paddock where there are so many innovative solutions helping to make Extreme E a carbon-neutral net zero event. Things like the Continental tyres, which are made of recycled materials, PET plastics, rice husks. The bodywork of the cars are made from flax seeds. We ship everything, the tents, the equipment, the cars, all around the world on our St. Helena ship. And even the crew and everyone here is invited to bring their own bowls, plates, cutleries, do their own washing up and save about 250,000 pieces of landfill a year. But there's also a very innovative set of solutions around the power on site. I'm joined by Craig, Head of Power and Logistics. Craig, give us a rundown of the smart energy power grid, how everything works here.
So we've been gathering data for the last 2 years to enable us this new smart system. Basically, the battery is the heart of the system, and in that we can feed multiple sources of green generation. So that's the solar panels you see here, and that's the hydrogen fuel cell in the background. Seamlessly, we can also feed in a backup system, and we've also got monitoring around the site, so we can actually gather more data to make the system more efficient. Data is the key part to this, and we knew this from the very beginning. So from season 1, we've been looking at all the data, and here it is today. This is a carbon neutral system that is running the event site here in Sardinia.
And so tell us also about the Enoa hydrogen fuel cells that power the cars.
So the solar panels start off by producing the hydrogen, giving the energy to do that, and then the Enoa fuel cell then powers the cars through our power network. Everything's all monitored, so we can adjust the output of the fuel cell to match what's going out, so no fuel is wasted, and we make it as green as possible.
Fantastic stuff. And it's not just on-site where there are innovative, environmentally friendly solutions, but also off-site.
In every race location, Extreme E creates and maintains legacy projects within local communities, both to give back and protect the local environment. Last year in Sardinia, 2 important projects were set up with local NGO Medsi, and they continue to thrive.
So last year with Extreme E, we were looking at replanting some of the seagrass beds here around the coast of Sardinia. Now this is really important because they take the very flat, sandy seabed and create structure there. So lots of small fish can go and live there as a nursery. It can be breeding grounds. One of the other really key components is that they are blue carbon habitats, and by that I mean that they pull carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. They change that into organic carbon in their roots and leaves, and then that settles into the sediment. This means that it locks away that carbon that we know is damaging for the environment into the sea floor. So it does so many different things, providing habitat, being carbon storage, and also just being a really cool place to snorkel over. So since last year, Medsi have continued to monitor what was planted, but also do additional plantings, because over time, those seagrass meadows will increase rather than that global phenomena of the decreasing in seagrass. That continues in these communities around Sardinia. Last year, we actually did 2 races. We had the blue carbon, which was really all about the carbon dioxide being pulled from the environment into the ocean via the seagrass beds that were being replanted. But the green carbon component was really thinking about how can we reduce wildfires in this really quite arid environment here in the Mediterranean. So to do this, there was a partnership between Vodafone Business and Extreme E. And this is really exciting because not only is there an opportunity of change, it's one that creates really new, novel technology. With the sensors here in Sardinia, what we're able to do is be able to provide an indication of when they're likely to happen and to stop it before it turns into this really awful event. So last year, the championship driver, Fraser McConnell, put the very first sensor up in the tree. And now this year, Vodafone Business are coming back and they're adding 20+ sensors to the area. It's the long-term success of projects that creates legacy, that's valuable for these coastal areas, the communities, the local people. And I think that's what we're seeing both in those sensors to prevent those wildfires, And then also in the seagrass, that long-term planting will create those wonderful meadows and ensure that there is vibrant marine life here for generations.
As we head in towards Q1 Heat 2, I am joined by our reigning Extreme E champion, Sebastian Loeb. What a day for you yesterday. Wow. In the final, you got a puncture, but you still carried on fighting, and it ended up getting you a 4th place. Talk us through what happened and that fighting spirit you found within yourself.
Yes, for sure. We tried hard, but okay, I got a puncture, so then you know it's over, but you try to carry on, because we know in Extreme E it can always happen some things. And so we try to keep the motivation to score some good lap times, and at the end we are 4th. So it's not the goal we had at the beginning of the weekend, but it didn't go all like we wanted. So hopefully we can have a better race today.
Excellent. It really shows that fighting spirit within you. The track itself, it's your first time coming back to Extreme E this season. How did you find it? How tough was the course?
No, the track is interesting. The only thing is at the start, it's a draw that gives us the positions. And we know that it's only one line, which is the fastest. So everybody wanted to go for the same line. It will be a bit the same today. So it's tricky, because everything is linked to this. We have a bad position this morning, so we will have to manage as well as possible to do a good Q1, but it will not be easy. So, but the track itself is nice. It's really like a rally track, so the driving is nice.
Excellent. Well, good luck today. We believe in you. So it has been a whole host of thrilling events yesterday. And we've even seen the leaders, Veloce, lose their top spot in the standings. They're only 2 points down, though. Let's see if we can take a look in and see how they're feeling ahead of Q1. Let's go into the Veloce garage here, see who we can find. At the back here, I can see them all sitting around the table. Molly, just a moment for us. So Veloce lost their top spot in the standings, but you guys really ran away with the redemption race. So how are you feeling? How confident are you heading into this Q1 that you can do a little bit better today?
Yeah, we're really excited that we get to have another crack today. It was a tough day for us yesterday, sort of from the first quali. It was, you know, we were sort of fighting on the back foot from then. So we did the best I think we could in the circumstances that we had. But we know we've got a strong team, we've got a strong car. So yeah, everything's to play for. It's really a clean slate today.
And it's Acciona Signs that are now in the lead, but so close between you. So in terms of the drivers and also the course, what will you focus on today?
Winning. That's the plan. Yeah, look, I mean, the starts are obviously critical, but, you know, we've got to keep it clean, we've got to be fast, we've got to, you know, do what we do, just keep our heads down, work as a team, make sure that we're doing our very, very best out there, and that's what we'll be out there doing.
Exciting stuff. Best of luck. Well, that is it. Q1 Heat 2 coming up.
So just a few minutes away before Heat 2 gets going for round 6 here in Sardinia for the Island X-Prix. There's a beautiful view of the St. Helena, the Royal Mail ship that was converted to allow these cars to travel around the world, saving as much carbon as possible. 75% reduction in carbon emissions.
Right, we're going to head down and have a catch-up with Clara, who is in the command centre. There she is, Clara Anderson for Abt Cupra. Good morning, Clara. How are we doing?
Good morning. We're doing good. Super excited for the day, and yeah, all positive.
I'm just looking at your grid position. You're in slot number 1, so I think you're far left-hand side of the grid. What's the plan? Can you tell us? Nobody's listening.
if I tell it quietly, maybe, but yeah, unfortunately we have the worst lottery and get to choose last yesterday, but we will do the best that we can. It's a long day. Seb is a legend for a reason, so I have full trust in him, and then we just see where we end up.
How's it been going having Sebastian Loeb as your teammate this weekend, Clara?
It's going great. He's a super good coach, and yeah, I get so much value from him just looking at the data. And we showed some great pace yesterday, so we're really excited, and we just need a bit of less bad luck, and yeah, hopefully this day will go a little bit better.
I'm sure you've been able to teach him a thing or two, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not my hometown, this type of racing, but yeah, we work good together. The team effort is super nice, and the car is working great. So yeah, let's see what today brings.
Yeah, fantastic. Great result for you yesterday. Hopefully that continues into the grand final again today. Thanks very much, Clara.
Thank you.
So there we go, Clara Anderson for Abt Cupra. She'll be getting her helmet on and ready to go.
Pretty epic.
Yeah, very much.
To have a teammate as Sebastian Loeb alongside you.
Oh, it is incredible, isn't it? We've got all male drivers in the car again for this one. Update on the rules as well, just so you all know at home. The teams do actually have to pick 5 times in the year the female or the male driver to start. So it's completely even. So it's how you go about what you want to do with your tactics.
Let's go down to Joe, who happens to be with Carl Cox.
Delighted to be joined here by Carl Cox. Enjoying your weekend so far?
I am absolutely loving it. Coming back here for the second time is amazing. Before when I was first here, I was just like a mere punter, having a look and see how it was all going. And now I'm and watching my car on the start line, ready to go.
9th in the standings for your team, and they had a good first race yesterday. Slipped up a bit in the second. What are you hoping for now in Q1?
Yeah, look, a really good clean race. They get to the end with hardly any scrapes and marks on the car, hopefully. I mean, both of them are really eager to do well today. And if we could just pick up some more championship points, and that, I'll be more than happy with that.
Excellent. We wish you better luck. I'll let you watch the race.
Thank you.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X-Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 2 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Great to see Carl Cox there. He's obviously a big fan of racing on islands. Last time I saw him was a couple of weeks ago on the Isle of Man, where he was there for the TT. He sponsors some bike races as well. Lucky enough to have a chat with him out there on the Isle of Man. That man loves motorsport. If you hadn't figured it out from the big grin on his face, he loves motorsport. Somebody needs to ask him what's his favourite, DJing or motorsport. I don't know whether or not he'd be able to answer that one, but he really is an enthusiast. What a great addition to the series.
Absolutely, like a kid in a candy store with that big smile. Let's take a look at how the driver's going to be lining up. So in that lane 1 there, we have Abt Cupra XC, lane 2, Acciona Sainz, lane 3, Carl Cox Motorsport in the preferential lane, Veloce Racing in lane 4, and then it's Andretti El Tequila with Timmy Hansen behind the wheel in lane 5.
So Timmy Hansen versus Kevin Hansen on the outside. Timmy Hansen gets himself pumped up. That's his standard start procedure. Get himself full of adrenaline. He's very aggressive off the start. Will he aim for lane 3? Scheider's in the middle of the grid. Can he get there for Carl Cox? Kevin Hansen will try and make it hard, as will Matthias Ekström. And Sebastian Loeb, is he going to take lane 1 for Abt Cupra? Does he think he can get across or not? They've chosen whether they're looking at the left or the right lights. 3 seconds to go. We're about to get this sent down to the first waypoint. Well, 3 people using the hyperdrive, 4 off the line. Scheider goes slightly later. Timmy Hansen does move across to the right side. Kevin Hansen just in front. Timmy Hansen gets the whole shot there. Sebastian Loeb's going the long way round. Ekström's at the back of the pack. Watch for Loeb on the right-hand side of your screen. He's absolutely flying. Can he get there before them or not? Timmy Hansen through. Kevin Hansen coming as well. No, Loeb's lost too much time. Even with a good start, he's going to run down in P5. So Scheider is P3 for Carl Cox Motorsport. Ekström P4. Loeb goes straight on down the right. He's looking for a better entrance into this first corner. Watch for Loeb now on the exit here. That's a really interesting line to try and get some more exit speed, but I don't think it's going to be quite close enough. He has saved his hyperdrive, so they knew that the start hit. Now Loeb uses the Innova hyperdrive, an extra 100 kilowatts going to try and pass Ekström on the left-hand side. Is it Ekström or Carl Cox? Sort of backing it in on the brakes. Super sideways. Ekström going to go deep. It is Matthias Ekström. He did ever so well to hold on to that on the brakes. He is now right on the back bumper of Scheider. Up the inside of Scheider. Ekström makes a pass. Loeb goes through as well. Timo Scheider gets dumped to the back of the pack. Nice side by side with Loeb. Not quite done yet. Scheider going to try and hold him off on the left-hand side of the road. Just squeezes through, a couple of bits of contact. Loeb gets pretty beaten up there, but Scheider's done well to hold on to that.
Absolutely fantastic, aggressive drive there for Sebastian Loeb. Obviously starting on the back foot in that lane that is a disadvantage, but he's pushing so hard to try and make up the places. Only a 5-second gap between himself and Hansen at the front of the grid at the moment. I still think he's got a lot to give.
Kevin Hansen trying to find a way past his brother Timmy. These two will not hold back against each other. I've seen them door to door in the World Rallycross Championship, beating the hell out of each other's cars. They then come in and get told off by Kenneth and Susan, their parents, for doing that. It's a family-run team. But here they're in different teams, so there is even more reason for Kevin to get stuck into his brother Timmy. Matthias Ekstrom was so late on the brakes. It was fantastic when Loeb was behind him. He just held on to the rotation of the car in the braking zone. It really was another lovely bit of car control. I'm enjoying the wide track here and seeing the cars able to move around.
Yeah, this is brilliant. And let's not forget that Hansen and Munnings yesterday did win one of their qualifying races, even though Timmy came off the back of it and said, oh, I haven't quite got the pace. And they've obviously worked with the car overnight, and you can clearly see they have definitely got the pace today. But brother Kevin Hansen not giving up and very much trying to make a pass.
Yeah, you got a really good start, didn't you? You think Timmy Hansen was out in lane 5 for Andretti Altachile and got the whole shot, so it is doable. I think it's just lane 1, Nicky, that they all know that they can't get to from out the far side. They can't get to lane 3 from there. Oh, Kevin's through! Kevin Hansen is through on Timmy Hansen. You're on board now with the Andretti Altachile, and Kevin got through, so that must have been surely at waypoint 5. I think we missed it, unfortunately. In the background now, Scheider, look, he's all over the back of Ekstrom. Sebastian Loeb suffering the dust. Look at Loeb's screen. He can barely see. Loeb, I reckon's run out of water on the wipers. But
how do you run out of water?
So the bottle's not that big on the car, so you're running the water the whole time with the wipers. So the water is basically, when the wipers are on, the water actually pumps the whole time into the wiper, and they run the tube right up the windscreen wiper. Normally it delivers the water directly to the screen rather than through a spray on a road car, so you can go through a couple of litres pretty quickly. Obviously the teams for weight don't want a big bottle because of, there we go. So he must have a little bit of water left, but Kristoffersen went off, of course, Leah in Scotland when his screen was blocked. Leah blocked yesterday, ran out of water, so I wonder if the teams might be requesting a bigger bottle in future.
Yeah, you don't want to be running out of water, do you? Visibility is pretty key at this point during the course of the race. So obviously all the speed has been cut in the cars now. They're on their way to the switch zone. 45 seconds is the opportunity to jump out of the car, get your teammate in. Let's take a look at the replay. So we've got Veloce there, Kevin Hansen on the left-hand side.
Does he go around the outside at waypoint 5 to get to the inside for 6? He does. So I think he's gone round the outside at 5 there, which is a heck of a move. Katie and Timmy, let's listen in.
It's better than the final yesterday. Small spots of water, but nothing to worry about. You can push.
You can push. Small spots of water, better than yesterday. Love that. He's got the most basic feedback. You know, you can't, there isn't time to go on about specifics. Look, Sebastian, look, cleaning off the window so that Clara can see in her mirrors, which is great. They'll chuck some water over the screen. It's little things like that which make the difference in terms of trying to make a plan for what you're going to do.
And also just to give you that confidence, you know, knowing that actually it's fine to go flat out and furious.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to be worried about. Brilliant to hear from your teammate. Just some reassuring advice.
Oh, they've released her alongside the Veloce machine. So Molly Taylor and Katie Munnings are side by side as they exit the switch zone. They came in just literally a car length apart. Taylor's got the inside line, so she'll take this. Where's Munnings going to go now? Anybody going to use an Inoa hyperdrive on the exit? They don't. So Molly Taylor going for that left-hand route, and yeah, Munnings has gone with her. In the background now, Leah Sands is out as well. Leah Block is about to come out for Carl Cox Motorsport, and then you've got Clara Anderson behind her. So I think we need to keep an eye on Clara Anderson. She's only 2 seconds off the back of Leah Block. And Leah, I'm sure, will get a bit more sandy today with a bit more experience under her belt. Look how close they are together. 8.3 seconds separating 5 cars. 2 laps to go. Let's go.
Yeah, this is going to be a great result, potentially, for Veloce Racing. Yesterday, obviously, they only made it through into the redemption race, which was disappointing, but they did go on to win their redemption race. So still valuable points in the championship. But they did lose their top spot in the championship standings, moving down to second.
Leah Block locked up there, went a little bit straight on. If you ever get the chance to look at the back of the Carl Cox Motorsport machine, all of the cars say Race for the Planet on them. The Carl Cox machine says Rave for the Planet. So awesome. That's what we want to see. We can race for the planet too, you know, but raving for the planet's important as well. You know?
Way more fun.
Continental Traction Challenge section, remember, will separate these teams. You're on board with Leah Block, 16 years old. She's the youngest driver ever to compete in Extreme E. Her mum Lucy's out in sight. Her brother and sister as well are there. And the whole family there watching, Mika and Kira as well.
And if you go onto Leah Block social, it just looks like she's having so much fun. Everything she sort of says about the car, you know, shocked at the power, that when you put it down you can go full throttle because of that electric powertrain, but also just how much fun you can have in the car.
She's going really well here. I spoke to Derek Dauncey last night, who is a big part of Block Racing, basically, and he was saying how they've made some changes to the settings on the car for the redemption race, and it made Leah feel much more comfortable in the car. So I'm pleased. And she also had a slow punch. Oh, Clara Anderson backs it in, knocks the signage down. She's fine. It's not a flag. Signage doesn't count. You can cane the signage, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
You might just lose your sponsorship deal.
Yeah, yes. If it's not your signage, knock it down. Yeah. Molly Taylor leading by 1.65 seconds, and it is Katie Munnings who's in P2. Here we go. On the exit now onto that straight section.
Yeah, now Katie, obviously, the last time she was in the car, had that big, well, turned on her head, basically, ended up upside down on her side at the end of the race yesterday.
She used her Renault hyperdrive down the straight here. That's the turn 5 is the waypoint at which Kevin looked like he went around the outside of Timmy to get to the inside of the next one. Leah Block is absolutely holding her own here against Leia Sands, and behind her, the App Cupra car of Clara Anderson. She's going really, really well. Yeah, to be on the pace of Leia Sands. Remember, Sands has had 2 years in the car. This is Leah's first event, first weekend, second event, double headers. Timmy Hansen looks on with the Andretti Autoquila engineers. They're on the final lap, got just a few waypoints to go.
So there we are on board with Katie Munnings at the moment. So this could be a P2 for her. Full throttle into the last part of the race. Just 1.3 seconds behind Veloce Racing. And who's it going to be? Who is going to cross that checkered flag first? It is, of course, Veloce Racing, Molly Taylor, with Katie Munnings right behind in P2.
Leia Sands. What happened to Leah Block on the last lap? Something happened to Block. She suddenly dropped seven seconds on the last lap. Kevin Hansen looking very pleased and a bit sweaty. Kevin gives him a hug. Man, look at those two.
I mean, that is amazing, isn't it? You got to be a proud parent when you see your two sons competing in such top-level motorsport, but actually still managing to smile afterwards. There aren't many brothers, I'm sure, that would end a race like that. Right, so here we are on board with Katie Munnings.
It's a penalty, sorry. It's a 10-second penalty for a drop flag at waypoint 10 for Leah Block. That's what's dropped her. So she was 4th on the road, but a 10-second penalty drops her back. You know what? It doesn't matter, because I think the fact she was on the pace of the other drivers, Clara didn't close the gap down too much. She didn't lose much time to Leia Sands. Okay, drop flag, whatever, learning process. It'll annoy them because obviously it hurts their chances. They now, like X44, need a really good result in the next session, but great stuff.
Yeah, just hopefully she won't beat herself up about it too much. Right, let's go down to the command centre and speak to Kevin Hansen.
Kevin, you must be absolutely buzzing. You managed to pass your brother, Timmy. It's always good to stick one on your brother, isn't it? We didn't quite see it. Did you go round the outside at waypoint 5, mate?
Yes.
Hey!
I think that's the toughest. I think that's the worst that any race we ever had, because who wants to be passed on the outside? And we've had so many races in video games and on track, and that was the most funny one I had, and we just laughed at it afterward. We have a bit of an internal joke on that as well. So no, that was amazing. I mean, we had a great start. Timmy had a better one, but was clever, slotted in behind, and then I could stay really, really close. I didn't really want to stay behind because it's so much mud going on, and I didn't want to use all the washer for Molly. So, but I managed to brake really late on the outside of him into waypoint 5, and I just got it to stick. I don't know how, because I couldn't see, there was so much mud on the side, but I made it stick. And I mean, the Veloci car is so good here, and I really enjoy driving it. And Molly did a great job too, so putting the fastest lap of the race, so we're back.
Huge congratulations, Kevin. Well done to you and the team.
Thank you very much.
He's pleased with that, isn't he? He's pleased with that. Passing Timmy out on track. Yeah, yes, yes, I am. I'm very pleased with that. Nice one, Kevin. Yeah, great move. Round the outside is tough anywhere. There's a little look at the breeze that's on site today. They're still saying it's hot, aren't they? What is the temperature? Let me see on track. I'll say it's only 31 Celsius with 39. So, yeah, in the top right-hand side of your screen, look at Kevin. He's on the right. The white car is Timmy. The other car is Kevin. Do you know what? I don't know how he's made that stick either, Nicky, because he's out on the loose and he's not that line. You can see the dry line on the run into the left-hander, and he's just come in hot. He's chucked it in and he's managed to hold on to it. Timmy Hansen on the far side of your screen. Yeah, he just gets a really good start. It's the second phase, isn't it? Almost, you know, that we don't have gears, but if you had a car with gears, it's that change from first to second. That's the point at which he edged it out.
So it just shows it can be done. So he's basically managed to win from most lanes.
Yeah. We're going to see it from the back of the Andretti car next. So have a look at this. This will be a great angle. So he's off the line. Look, he's already got half a car length on Kevin. Kevin said I was clever. Look, Scheider's got nowhere to go. Scheider actually had to dip the brake there to get in behind Kevin. Ekstrom was alongside Scheider and couldn't get there either. And then somewhere over on our right now is Sebastian Loeb, who's thinking, is there a way to get this done? But what I loved about their tactics was he didn't use the hyperdrive because it would have been wasted off the line. Look for Loeb, far right-hand side of your picture. No point in using your hyperdrive if you're not racing the others to that turn. He then tried to use it with the Scheider incident later on in the race, but Scheider was really racy and fought him hard to hold on to his position.
Yeah, so it just shows, doesn't it? If you're over on that far right lane, it's at such a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is a bit of a lottery when it comes to that.
No one's made slot one work yet, but you know, yesterday all 5 cars went in. There it was. Leah Block just got a tiny bit too much rotation on the brakes. You want rotation, so earlier in the race she locked the wheels and didn't get the rotation, so the car didn't turn in. She lost time, so she's then now pitching in a little bit harder on the brakes, and on that occasion, little bump or maybe a little bit of slipperiness at the rear of the car. She gets a tiny bit too much rotation, and the flag goes down. So yeah, annoying, but as I say, look in the car to me. She's not using too much steering input. She's got good angles on the rotation. You know, yeah, she's driving really well.
Yeah, she's still got to be happy with that result. So there we have it. Carl Cox Motorsport down in 5th, Abt Cupra 4th. Acciona Sainz Championship leaders in 3rd at the moment. Andretti Altequila in 2nd. And Hansen and Taylor taking the spoils for that qualifying 1, Heat 2. Congratulations to Veloci Racing.
I quite fancy a dip in the harbour.
Someone's having a swim. I was just looking at that thinking, is that a seal? And then no, it's
they're
not.
rubbing that in big time, aren't they?
So,
that's where I want it. I love my job, but I'll happily take a swim in the harbour. Like, come on now.
There we go. Let's have a look at qualifying 2, Heat 1. This is how the teams and drivers are going to line up. So it's going to be Loeb and Anderson, Abt, Andretti, X44, Tanner Faust and Gilmore for McLaren, and RXR in Heat 1. So still lots to play for. And of course, championship points are available for winning your qualifying heat.
So take another look at some of the start action again. So 4 cars heading for lane 3. The only time we've seen all 5 try was yesterday. And I think the problem there, Nicky, is when you're in the final, you know lane 1 doesn't work. Look, if Sebastian Loeb can't make it work, it doesn't work. And we saw lots of drivers try different lines yesterday. That's not a criticism of the track. It's just unlucky. They have a draw, you see, for the first race of the day, which the drivers don't like, obviously, because it's random. They all like to be in control. They're terrible control freaks, aren't they? You'd be surprised at the number of racing drivers who hate flying because they're not in control. And
well, they just fly themselves.
Well, yeah, that's why they buy helicopters, isn't it? Loeb, a good example. So, yeah, so Sebastian Loeb at the back of the pack. Look at this. He uses hyperdrive, tries to get past Ekstrom. Ekstrom is so late on the brakes there. He had that rotation on the car. He then has a look at the inside. I don't even know how he's managed to make that that work because the Acciona Science machine is almost out of control over the bumps, but Ekstrom does get past Scheider, and Loeb's halfway past, and Scheider's like, I'm not having it, I'm still coming through. He uses the bushes on the left, and that's a great bit of racing from Scheider, really aggressively holding on to his position. Is that the move from Kevin? No, it's not. So Kevin at this point is still behind. I think we've only got that one long drone shot of Kevin going past Timmy.
It's a brilliant shot there that just showcases what the landscape is like. You know, so different to the rest of Sardinia, isn't it? I mean,
I'm looking at all those options, Nicky, and thinking, I want to go out there and have a play. You know, like you could.
You're not looking for a swimming pool. I can see the sea over there. That's where you're going to be sunbathing.
Little rip in an Odyssey 21. Maybe, you know, let's try out a few different options for the track for next year, and then we'll go swimming. What do you think?
Drive us to the beach.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Right,
yeah, drive down the beach in the Odyssey 21. Park it right on the beach. You know they're good on the beach. We used them on the beach in Saudi Arabia, and then we'll go for a swim. You up for it?
I mean, I'm not going to say no.
There we go. There we go. Right.
So there was Leah Block there, who just, of course, got that penalty.
This is it
for
here.
hitting the waypoint.
Yeah.
But she still should be proud of the drive today.
Oh, she will be. I think she looks a lot more comfortable in the car to me today. There's Timmy with Kevin in front of him. So I think that's just after the moment. Yeah, I think that's just after the moment it happened. Or is this once after the switch zone? Not sure. Can't tell. Interesting what Kevin had said, wasn't it? I didn't want to use all the water. You get covered in mud, so I didn't want to use all the water on my run. I wanted to make sure that Molly had some, and they are coming in the switch. So it was still lap 2. So when he made that pass. Great stuff from Kevin Hansen with a pass on his brother Timmy. They take the win. And that puts them in good shape to make it through to the grand final later on today.
I've never gotten bored of driving. I love driving the rental car to the airport. I love driving the grocery cart around the grocery store and taking the perfect line and making downshift noises when I go from aisle 6 to 7. So that 12-year-old is still there. I didn't really start adulthood thinking that motorsport was going to be the core of my life, but racing has done everything for me. As far as racing highlights go, there's been a lot of awesome stuff. I think Formula Drift, it was a really great time to be in drifting, winning those championships. Being a part of Rallycross, kind of from the beginning of its resurgence in Europe and in the US, and then winning some championships there. X Games took on Rallycross for a while, getting, I think, 4 gold medals out of that. For 6 years in the US, I presented Top Gear USA. We got to travel around and do things that otherwise you would never, ever do. One of the great things about Top Gear is it was strangely a balanced family show. I've had maybe thousands of people tell me that it's the only show that they could sit down with their significant other or with their kids and watch and all get a good laugh out of. It brought non-car enthusiasts into a car show and put the hook in. Stunt driving is a very cool element to the career. I've kind of got the racing, the presenting, and the stunt driving as the 3 pillars there that make my world go around. Dukes of Hazzard was my first movie. I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard on TV, so to rip rooster tails through Hazard County with the General Lee, I mean, come on. I get asked a lot if I'm an adrenaline junkie for doing the big jumps or the racing or whatever, and as soon as you feel adrenaline, you had a flight or fight response, and a natural instinct comes to the surface and you crash. Almost every instinct we have is bad for driving. And so racers, while they may look like adrenaline junkies, they're really masters at avoiding adrenaline. If I were to go back and tell my 13-year-old self that I'd at some point be racing for McLaren and have done all this kind of fun stuff, never would have believed it, not in a million years. I think a lot of the things that Extreme E did almost as an experiment have turned out to be wildly successful. And having the gender-neutral factor in Extreme E has brought female drivers absolutely out of the woods that have crazy talent that nobody would have discovered and nobody would have honed their skills in the way that Extreme E has and put the spotlight on them. If you look at our paddock, both of our lead engineers are female, most of our marketing staff's female. I would say that the men are frankly outnumbered, which is not common in motorsport, and we're here to kick ass. I've learned so much about culture, so much about business, motorsport, people, relationships. Virtually every lesson I've learned through motorsport as a vehicle. So I owe racing my life. I try to give back to motorsport anytime I can, and I'll continue to do that until I can't drive anymore.
Tanner likes driving. So I have to admit, I do the thing with the shopping trolley. You have to make car noises, Nikki. Do you make car noises with the shopping trolley?
Well, I do, but that's because I have a 4-year-old son with me.
But there you
Not
go.
when I'm by myself,
But
no.
well, you need to do it when you're by yourself. Ultimately, you should be making a turbo wastegate noise when you lift off on the way into a corner and flick the trolley the wrong way. Depends where you're going. If you're going from one aisle round the hairpin into the other, it's really important to get it turned in. Like trolleys, very much steer from the rear.
Do you also put the weight in the right places in your trolley?
I don't, but that's a great idea. Sometimes
Get
though,
your
when I'm
milk over
passing,
on
when
the
I'm
front
passing
left.
an old deer on the way from the tills, I do sometimes go, oh, it's a lovely pass by Coley. Or maybe coming out this corner. Yeah, it's very sad, isn't it?
Oh dear. Moving on swiftly. Let's take a look at the championship points at the moment. So Sergio de Sainz still there with 90, but Veloce Racing 1 point for winning their qualifying heat with 89 points. Oh, it's so tight at the top. RXR also another point for them. GMC Hummer down in 4th, X44 in 5th after a puncture in their qualifying session today. Neon McLaren also on the back foot, not quite the right lane that they drew in P6. Andretti Altaquira tried so hard, just missed out on winning their qualifying heat. Abd Cupra, Carl Cox Motorsport and JBXE closing out the top 10 in our team's championship standings.
Interesting, isn't it? 12-point lead it was for Veloce when we came here. There's now only 11 points covering the top 3. Joanne Kier is down with Sebastian Loeb.
Well, I found Sebastian Loeb here, who finished 4th in the end for Abd Cupra. Let's talk about the start, though. You chose an alternative line. Didn't quite pay off, though, did it? Frustrated?
Yeah, but we knew that starting from our position is no other chance. We had really bad luck on the draw, so we had the worst position. You cannot go in another line, so we had to go for this way. We knew that it will be tough, so. But okay, we did do our job. We had a good run. Couldn't do much better.
Experience again, though, paying off for you in that Leah Block had a flag infringement, so you did finish 4th. So what do you need to do now in Q2 to make sure to qualify for that grand final?
I think we need to do a very good result, first or second. So will depend again of our starting position. I hope not finishing last will be a bit better situation for the draw, but we will not have the best position, but hopefully not a too bad one, and try to go for it in the second heat.
Okay, a bit of regrouping and hopefully a better Q2 for you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, they need a better Q2, don't they? Very much. As to X44. Had that puncture for McConnell. This is the Zenith Dream Team standing, so top of both looks. So the fastest female, Molly Taylor, the fastest male, Kevin Hansen. Really great performance. Leah Block looks up in P4, so Leah Block absolutely flying. Great job by her as well. Yeah. Looking at the list, McConnell on the right, of course, that was, he had the puncture, so he's had a little bit of a shocker today. And your Zenith Dream Team is Veloce.
Yeah, what a way to start the day for Veloce. Just 1 point in them at the top of the championship standings.
So this is really interesting. Oh, by 0.05 of a second. Remember, X44 had a puncture on lap 1. Fraser McConnell has gone in, they've changed the wheel, he's gone out and nailed on the second sector, 43.0. In fact, he was fastest in both of the first 2 sectors, but McConnell and his teammate Gutierrez are at the top of that table. That could be absolutely crucial because they might end up on the cusp of 5th and 6th, but they still need to win their next race. And you can see who they're up against here. They're up against Hansen, Munnings, Loeb, Anderson, Faust, Gilmore, Christopherson, Arlen, Kotlinski. The thing is there, both Loeb and Anderson, Fratt, Cooper and McConnell and Gutierrez, they're desperate to win that, to try to drag themselves into the grand final. It is very much all to play for later on today, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we were talking earlier, it's kind of on that bubble, isn't it? You need really about 12 to 14 points probably to get yourself through into the grand final. So that's going to be the aim for qualifying.
Yeah, yesterday you needed 14. Previous events, it's been around 12. We say the tiebreak comes down to that Continental Traction Challenge. So that was a great way to start the day. It really was. Yesterday's qualifying, by Extreme E standards, was very careful and a little bit tame. Today, they've obviously looked at the final yesterday and gone, that looks like a lot more fun for everybody at home. Let's get really sendy. I mean, yeah, just a fantastic start to the day. Brilliant racing.
Yeah, it really has been. This is just a superb track. It's a track that we've been to 3 times now in Extreme E, although obviously it is slightly smoother, slightly wider this year, and we can't wait to see racing get underway later. We still have qualifying 2, Heat 1 and 2 to go, and we cannot wait to see who will be going through to the grand final here in Sardinia.
Hyperdrive now.